Hey there, this is Tara from Wild Bird Farm. I garden here in Zone 5 in central Iowa, and we are in early August, and it is time to get myself organized for what seeds I need to start now and then in a couple weeks, both for outdoor fall planting as well as in the hoop house. So truth be told, I put some seeds, I coordinated some seeds and wrote late summer start on the bag, but I haven't looked at this since. And so today I thought together we can just go through what I have in here and then just make a pile of what I need to start today and then kind of make a plan for the next couple weeks. I get my seeds from a variety of sources. I have been ordering from Johnny's and Baker Creek for a lot of years now. GeoSeed was a little intimidating to me in the beginning, and then I kind of got used to just ordering from other sources. But this year, that is where I bought the bulk of my seeds. So we have some from Johnny's, Baker's Creek, and that might be it for this pile. So let's just walk through these, and we're going to kind of make a pile for now, which will actually go up to the shop and get some seeds sowed, and then a pile for a couple weeks from now, because the hoop house is going to stay warmer for longer. And I used to plant things in there in early September, and that was just really too warm for it. So we're looking closer to late September to plant in there. So one thing I have some lettuce. We'll put that off to the side. One thing I see right off the bat is my perennial scabiosa. This is called Fama Blue and Fama White. I have this out in the field right now. Some of it is 3 years old. I would call this a short-lived perennial, at least in my area. It tends to die off, at least in my zone here, often in year 3 or year 4. So we will definitely be starting some flats of these because I'd love to bulk that up in my outdoor garden. So that goes in the start now pile. All right, let me organize myself just a bit. Okay, it looks like we have Magic Single Feverfew and Tetra White Feverfew, both from Johnny's. I have grown both of these before. Last year, I did not have the best luck starting the Magic Single from seed, but we're going to use the rest of this packet up. And then I have a lot of the Tetra White. So both of these are something that I need to get started now, as they'll be planted out in my field in early September. To kind of get their roots established until our first frost, which is usually the first or second week in October. And then they will be blooming for me in May and June of next year. In my geoseed pile, I also have the Venmo Snowball and the White Crown. So I have a lot of feverfew to start today. And again, I'm planning to put all of these outdoor. They do overwinter here fine in zone 5. All right. I think out of everything else I have here, I have a lot of yarrow, and every year I say I don't need to start any. But I enjoyed the pearl this year. This was something that came back from last year, and it was taller and just pretty little white blooms on it. So I did buy a couple of packs from Baker Creek, and I'm going to start only the pearl yarrow. I have a lot of yarrow both in my pollinator patch and in my cut flower rows that will come back next year, but I am going to start some of the pearl. And I think that rounds out the things that I need to start to plant outdoors. So in a couple of weeks, I will be starting the majority of the rest of this to go inside my hoop house this fall. I have Canterbury bells. It looks like 1 pack from each company. I have a deluxe mixed pack from Baker Creek, a Champion 2 pink pelleted seed from GeoSeed, and then also pelleted lavender Champion from Johnny's. I have started Campanula before from seed. It was actually worked really well. It almost grew too tall in the hoop house, but I'm going to try it again this year and hopefully start out with a little bit smaller plants here this fall. So we're going to put this in the pile to start in a couple weeks. If you have been around very long, you know I love growing Sweet William or Dianthus in my hoop house. And while I have some in there now that'll perennialize and also self-seed, I did pick up some of the sweet purple and white bicolor. Also a pelleted seed from Johnny. So I am going to get that started. I don't really have a lot of purple, so I think that's why I picked that one up. I do have Nigella in this stack. However, I'm not going to start this in plug trays. I will just direct sow this along with a few other things. I know I'll direct sow Orlea in the hoop house, Nigella, maybe cress, maybe Bupleurum. We'll have to see, but we'll put this in the hoop house pile. Okay, and then the balance of my seed packets from GeoSeed, I have 3 Potomac greenhouse forcing varieties of snapdragons to get started. I have white, cherry rose, and apple blossom, all colors that I think will be great for spring. I have started snaps in the greenhouse the fall before I want them blooming in spring. They are very tall, strong stems. They're usually 3 weeks to a month earlier than those in the field. So if you have the space in a hoop house, this is a great way to get some earlier snapdragons. So I have these 3 types, and these will probably be the first things I start for the hoop house. So we'll put that in that pile. And then in addition to that, I am putting up a little bit larger hoop house this year. So I went heavy on the plugs. I have not ordered a lot of plugs before, but I've ordered several $100s worth of plugs for this year. So let's just run through quickly what is coming in September. First off, I have pansies, and these are the Appassionato Italian pansies. I've grown pansies before. I've grown them from seed. I've never gotten tall enough stems though. So I ordered these purposefully to come in September so they can get planted in the hoop house and overwinter, and hopefully that creates a little bit stronger stems for me. I love pansies, and I'm just hoping this experiment works. I also have plugs coming of the Venmo single feverfew, which we're going to start the rest of that packet here. Those will be for outside. I kind of have these all mixed up here. Those are outside, plugs to be planted outside. Let's see. And then I also, for outside plugs, I have 2 types of Rudbeckia coming. I have Irish Eyes and the Sahara. Those are both coming in September, 128 cell trays. I haven't had success starting Rudbeckia from seed, not at least in large quantities. So this year I broke down and bought plugs. I believe the rest on the list is for inside the hoop house. I have 3 trays of snaps coming. So with the seeds I'm going to start and with the trays, we're going to have a lot of snaps. These will go in the hoop house: Chantilly pink, Maryland lavender, and apple blossom. So let's see. I have cherry rose, white, and then I do have apple blossom. So I might actually pull the apple blossom seed out. We'll sow these in early spring for outdoor starting, since I have plugs coming. I also have some delphiniums coming, Casablanca belladonnas. Those are white. All my other delphiniums are outside, so I think those will go outside as well. And then I've never grown foxglove. So of course, if you've heard of Dalmatian peach, these will actually flower the first year if you plant them out in early spring. But again, I have them coming in September. I will be putting these in the hoop house. And this is kind of an experiment year for me. I haven't grown foxglove. And then finally, I think I needed to fill up this box of plugs coming. So I ordered a tray of the Amazon Dianthus. It's Rose Magic. It is the ones that are different colors of pinks and whites all in one bloom head. I had a few of these in my hoop house this year. I didn't identify which they were though to save seeds. So this way I'll have a nice stand of those come spring. So that is my list of plugs. So again, I have never bought, I think the most I've ever bought is 3 trays of plugs. And right here we have 9 trays of plugs. So 3 different boxes coming. Because I am planning to have the bigger hoop house up, I just didn't feel comfortable starting all of these seeds and having success to be able to fill that hoop house. Hoop houses are pretty expensive growing area, so I thought for this year it would be smarter to bring in these plugs, which the majority of them can perennialize. So bring in these plugs just so I have some really nice blooms and plenty of blooms in the spring. So that is our plan in a nutshell. Let's go up. Again, we don't have too many. We have the Perennial Scabiosa. We have the Pearl Yarrow. And then we have, are these all feverfew? Yes, then we'll do a couple trays of feverfew. Again, starting these in early August, so that will give them approximately 4 to 6 weeks to grow in the cell trays. They'll get planted out. They'll have about 4 to 6 weeks to get their roots established before we start getting a little bit harder frosts here. And then we will be looking forward to spring or early summer blooms. We are up outside of the shop now. I ended up with 2 40-count trays, and I believe this is a 128. I filled them with seed starter mix, and now I'm going to let them wick up some water so they are ready for the seeds. So once the soil is moist, this is a really quick process. I already put the Pearl Yarrow in this 40-count tray. In this larger 128, I put several varieties of feverfew. And then I have the 2 types of perennial scabiosa or pincushion flower left. And I'm going to split up this 40-count tray with these. So sowing all of these has been very quick. They need light to germinate, so they want good contact with the soil. Of course, these are like those little shuttlecocks on the pincushion flower, so I just push the pointy end down into the soil medium, and they germinate pretty well for me. All right, so we have the second half of the scabiosa tray here. Then they will get lids and they will go under lights. I'm going to keep them out here in the shop, plenty warm. It gets quite warm out here actually, and we should see germination pretty quickly. I have everything sewed. I do need to make some tags to tell me what is what, but I'll be able to tell for the most part by size, and I can also see those scabiosa seeds. That wraps up today's video. Let me know what you're doing today down in the comments below. Until next time.